Good afternoon, ladies and gents. Just wanted to do a quick show for AZ Frag, what my tank looks like. This is for B. Gifford and everybody else, I guess. So you can see my lights up top. They are pulse width modulation. They are controlled by two pontometers. There's an Arduino in there with a wireless shield. My two Meanwells air to make sure. What it is it is actually 40 3-watt LEDs positioned directly over the center of the tank. It does have an additional 5-volt adapter that connects into the Arduino outside of its normal power. So the 5-volt goes to the pontometers. Then I have two transistors that pump the 5-volt up to 10-volt, which is what is required for the pulse width modulation. What I wanted to show and things I wanted to make note of. Now I just turned the lights on. I just got home. I'd like to run my lights from approximately 4 o'clock until approximately 10 or 11, so in max 6 or 7 hours. I just turned my lights on for the day. Here is a green anemone. It will come out as it starts getting adjusted to the light. I do dim these in, so right now we are looking at a 10%. You'll note these little guys are awesome. I love them. When I went and talked to Carlos, I said I need the highest light intensity I can get, and he gave me these two little guys, which are these guys right here. I don't know their specific names or anything, but right next to them is a Rainbow Aiken. You'll notice it is mid-tank. I do have my clam listed on the bottom. Okay, so this guy will start puffing out here shortly. This is a hammer, and over here we have yet another hammer and a rose bubble tip anemone. The keys that I'm having issues with are Montiporas. Now I do need to clean my glass on the inside of the tank, but here is a Superman encrusting Montipora. You'll note it's in between the two pipes. It looks like a little piece of red sticking out at us. It's all red. This is a Fire Montipora. You'll note the pop extension doesn't really come out ever, so it won't change between now and then. And the bird's nest sitting right on top. It is a Green's bird's nest, and you can see it is starting to right on the left hand side. There's a branch that's losing the flesh between the polyps, and then I have another Montipora over here that got flipped over, and here's an Acropora here, and the Acropora, the polyps come out very well. You'll note there. I don't know if that's, it should come out a little bit more, but not much. So that's the extent of its polyp extension. So now my lights though, so if this is it at 10%, I'm just going to come up here, and I know this is going to shock the little buggers a little bit, but I'm going to pump it all the way up here for just a second. That's it on full blast. I try not to run it full blast. I try to run it in between approximately 60%, give or take. So I'm just going to turn these down a little, and actually I'm going to turn the back set down really well because they just woke up. And somebody said about water flow. Well, I have my MP10 pumping out over here, and it's pumping across the 40 breeder. Then I also have a power head here that pushes it over to my overflow, another power head here that pumps into my overflow, which then goes down to a 10-gallon sump down below that does a lot of my filtration. I'm every now and again, depending on my phosphate levels, I do have a 150 Fosgard reactor that I'll run. However, I only run it when my nutrients become high, because I'm running seed gel in it with carbon, and it tends to strip way too much out of the water. So I don't really run it all the time. I only run it when I start getting high areas. Skimmer back here, hang on the back, Reef Octopus BH1000 external pump instead of internal pump, so you don't see it in the water. Let's see. But really my corals, like my Favia down here, hasn't really done a whole heck of a lot. And definitely my Montiporas, trying to see if I can get a good shot in here. I don't think I'm going to be able to. My Montiporas are definitely not doing so hot, and I've tried moving everything up and down. The bird's nest used to be down on the base. I try to leave it for 4 or 5 days, take a look and see how it's reacting to the change. I've already had a bird's nest down here, as you can see. This little guy. That was a bird's nest. It's no longer there. So I'm trying to just, I really like whatever these are. When I told them I really need highlight stuff, the highlight stuff is really doing well. So I'm kind of curious if my lights are just pumping out way too much. Because everything that seems to be a high light intensity requirement seems to be thriving pretty well. From what I understand, I don't know if Montiporas are medium light, low light, but I've been working with Aquinas or Shane. Shane lives out by me in Maricopa, and I do test my water as often as I can, and I take my water into Carlos and have him test it. Last week I showed real high nitrites, or nitrates, I can't remember which, but we've taken care of that, and everything's back down to normal now. So just figured I'd give you an update on what my tank looks like and how things are going, and see what you think as far as lighting goes, or water flow. I said I don't think I'm short on water flow. Mostly if I have, see, those are 425 power heads each, so those are pumping out a lot of, and then the MP10, and my return pump for the sump is Little Giant. I think it's rated at 300 gallons or something like that, 400 gallons. So I don't have low water flow, I can say that for a fact. And my nutrient levels, like I said, I'm trying to keep track of those pretty well, and I have a lot of coralline algae now growing all over the place, so I know that my phosphates probably aren't an issue. Let me know what you think.